Good Morning America, Charlie Kirk's memorial. Tens of thousands of people expected to attend to remember the assassinated conservative activist, including the president and vice president. Security extremely tight, police on alert for any possible threat. We are live in Arizona.
Country club shooting. A gunman opens fire at a wedding in New Hampshire, killing one person and wounding others.
All of a sudden, we heard pop, 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 pop. Heard 5 shots.
Guests rushing to take cover.
President's pick. Donald Trump nominates one of his former attorneys to take over the job as a top federal prosecutor after leading a pressure play to get the former prosecutor to resign. What we know about the nominee.
New vaccine recommendations, what it could mean for your child's vaccination schedule, and the advice on getting a COVID shot. Dr. Darian Sutton here to break it all down.
Cyber attack. Airports in Europe hit with major disruptions. The delays and cancellations stretching into today. As an investigation gets underway, what to know if you're scheduled to fly.
Scaring up sales. Hollywood making a killing on horror movies. Record shattered. As we approach Halloween, are we in a golden era of gore?
There is a lot of excitement surrounding the WNBA semifinals. That's tipping off today. And speaking of sports, we are also cheering on our friend Janae, ready to run a half marathon right there in Philadelphia this morning. Janae, looking good. How you feeling?
You guys, I feel fantastic. It's so exciting. The 5K runners just took off. A lot of the students with Run Philly Style that we told viewers about yesterday, they've just taken off. There's just so much excitement out here. I haven't gotten my stretches in just yet. I'm about to do that, but I'm feeling good, ready to take off in about 30 minutes or so.
Oh, well, we can feel your excitement. We're so proud of you. You've been training for these 13 miles. You're going to knock it out of the park.
Thank you.
All right, and we're going to check back in with you very soon later on in the show. There's a lot of news to cover here. The overnight shooting at a country club wedding, one person killed, and news just coming in of an arrest, plus the latest on that cyber attack affecting European airports, causing delays and cancellations. We'll have that.
We want to begin this morning, though, with the final preparations that are being made for today's Charlie Kirk Memorial. A massive crowd is expected to honor the assassinated conservative activist. And with the president and vice president set to attend, security there will be extremely tight. Jacqueline Lee is live in Phoenix with the latest. Hey, Jacqueline, good morning.
Rhiannon, good morning. Just to give you guys an idea of the sheer magnitude of this event, when authorities were planning for the Super Bowl, they had more than 2 years. For this memorial, they had a week. This morning, security preps in high gear as nearly 100,000 people are expected to descend on State Farm Stadium for the public memorial service of Charlie Kirk. The 31-year-old rose to fame as a conservative voice and debater. He was fatally shot while at an event earlier this month at Utah Valley University. Homeland Security designating the memorial as a SEER Level 1 event, the highest security designation. President Donald Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance are expected to speak, with other high-level cabinet members in attendance. Also expected to speak is Charlie Kirk's widow, Erica.
When folks enter this facility, we're talking about the highest level of security possible. They're going to be going through metal detectors. They're going to be wanded.
Federal officials say they are tracking several potential threats of unknown credibility against those planning to attend. Lone offenders remain the top threat, with concerns about domestic extremists and foreign terror organizations. Authorities are monitoring thousands of cameras on the ground and in the air all around the stadium. This as people visit from all over the country to pay their respects.
I think it's important to, in honoring Charlie Kirk's legacy, support free speech and support the right to be able to speak openly without fear of violence.
As authorities work to keep the stadium as safe as possible, we are learning more about 42-year-old Joshua Runkles, who police say was arrested on site with a gun on Friday. He was charged with impersonating a law enforcement officer and carrying a weapon into a prohibited place after the Secret Service claimed he was exhibiting suspicious behavior. Event organizers for Turning Point USA now saying he was doing advanced security for a known guest, and we do not believe this person was attempting anything nefarious. Given the political nature of this event, authorities have created free speech zones around the stadium for opposition to speak their mind as long as they are not breaking the law. Rhiannon.
All right, our thanks to Jacqueline Lee there. You can catch the memorial service for Charlie Kirk later this morning streaming on ABC News Live. Gio.
Okay, Rhiannon, now to the breaking news overnight. Wedding guests at a country club running for cover when a gunman opened fire, killing one person and wounding others. And ABC's Morgan Norwood is here with this story. Good morning, Morgan.
Good morning to you, Gio. Yes, a night meant for dancing and toast interrupted by gunfire. Just moments ago, right before we came on the air, police announcing they've arrested 23-year-old Hunter Nadeau. They say he shot and killed 59-year-old Robert Steve Chessery and injured 2 others.
Overnight, a gunman opening fire at a country club in New Hampshire, killing 1 man and wounding others.
All of a sudden, we heard pop, 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 pop. Heard 5 shots. All of a sudden, heard a gun, chaos, screaming, and then running. It was just the scariest thing I've ever experienced in my life.
We have a report of 1 person being shot in the face.
Investigators say a man fired several shots inside the Sky Meadow Country Club in Nashua before police detained a person of interest at the scene.
We have identified all the people involved in the situation, and there is no threat to the general public at this point in time.
Survivors bussed to a family reunification center nearby. A reception for a wedding underway when a witness says the gunman barged in.
The active shooter basically went through the party and went through the kitchen area, and that's what went crazy.
One witness says one person tried to stop him.
He hit him over the head with a chair, and he probably saved a bunch of lives just doing that because the shooter was dazed when he came into the ballroom.
Right now, investigators not commenting on a possible motive.
They will get to the bottom of this and will bring the appropriate people to justice.
And Nadeau is facing second-degree murder charges this morning. We know his arraignment is set for tomorrow.
All right, Morgan Norwood, thank you for that. We turn now to President Trump and his Ukrainian counterpart, President Zelensky, set to meet this week at the UN General Assembly following Russia's latest act of aggression. Its jets said to have violated Estonia's airspace, requiring NATO planes to intercept. Senior White House correspondent Selena Wang is in Washington with more. Hey, Selena, good morning.
Hey, Rhiannon, good morning to you. That's right. President Trump heads to the UN General Assembly this week, where he's expected to meet with President Zelensky. The Ukrainian leader has been pushing for security guarantees as Putin escalates this war, putting our NATO allies on edge.
This morning, NATO sending a warning to Russia's Vladimir Putin. UK fighter jets flying over Poland in a NATO air defense mission. A direct response to more than 20 Russian drones crossing into Polish airspace earlier this month. The UK Defense Secretary calling it a successful operation to defend our allies from reckless Russian aggression. And just days ago, 3 Russian fighter jets accused of violating Estonia's airspace, flying for about 12 minutes over NATO territory. NATO scrambling jets to intercept. EU's foreign policy chief blasting it as an extremely dangerous provocation, warning that Putin is testing the West's resolve. The president asked about the Friday incursion.
I don't love it. I don't love it. I don't like it when that happens. It could be big trouble.
Over the weekend, Russia launching massive attacks across Ukraine, a barrage of drones and missiles. The White House says Putin promised Trump he would sit down with Zelensky during their meeting in Alaska last month, but that hasn't happened.
They hate each other to a level that you wouldn't believe, so they're having a little bit of a problem with that.
Putin has only escalated the war since that Alaska summit. President Trump now admits that Putin has let him down, but still, President Trump has yet to go through with his threat to impose tough new sanctions on Russia. Whit?
All right, Selena Wang, we appreciate it. And joining us now is our chief Washington correspondent, Jonathan Karl, who will be hosting This Week later on this morning. John, always great to see you. Good morning. So what's on the table here when Presidents Trump and Zelensky meet this week at the UN General Assembly?
Well, it's the big topic. What is Donald Trump going to do now that he has said that Vladimir Putin has disappointed him, that he's unhappy with Putin's actions, both in terms of the flights most recently over Estonia by Russian jets, but also the fact that he hasn't, agreed to a one-on-one meeting with Zelensky, and he continues to escalate the Russian bombing of civilian targets throughout Ukraine. So that's the big topic, in addition to what Trump is going to do to punish Russia. One question first and foremost for Zelensky is, does he have a green light to use the weapons that he's gotten from America to attack targets inside of Russia.
Yeah, President Trump has been clearly frustrated by Putin in some of those discussions. John, I do want to turn to another topic here and ask you about President Trump ousting a federal prosecutor. You asked the president about that move. What did he tell you? And some of the next steps are already in motion here, right?
President Trump made it perfectly clear that he was the one who fired this prosecutor. The prosecutor announced his resignation. The President Trump saying he was the one who wanted him out. He told me that the reason he wanted him out is because he had been signed off on, agreed to as being the, he's a Trump appointee, U.S. attorney is a Trump appointee, but that the two Democratic senators from Virginia agreed with that and signed off on that nomination. Now Trump has announced that he's putting one of his defense lawyers nominating to be the head of that U.S. attorney's office. What you have to understand, this is perhaps the most important U.S. attorney's office in the country, responsible for the bulk of counterterrorism and espionage cases. The reason why Trump wanted that prosecutor fired, we are told by multiple sources, is that he would not go forward with prosecution of Trump's political enemies, including Letitia James, the Attorney General in New York, and also James Comey, the former FBI director.
Certainly something to watch closely in the days ahead. John Karl, as always, we appreciate it. Thank you. And tune into This Week later this morning. John has an exclusive interview with Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy. Former acting director of the CDC, Dr. Richard Besser, talks about the effects of the new vaccine guidance. And Stephen A. Smith and Chris Christie join John to discuss the top political headlines. Gio?
Okay, Whit, there have been proposed changes to the vaccine recommendations for our kids and for COVID that are awaiting final CDC approval, and there's a lot of confusion around it all. So joining us to make sense of it all is ABC News medical correspondent Dr. Darian Sutton. Good morning. It is good to see you.
Good to see all of you too.
Let's start with this, the vaccine schedule for children. This is something that parents are always watching. What has changed?
So a lot has gone on in the past week with the CDC Advisory Committee. Much confusion, not only from the public perspective, but within the committee themselves. Where it stands is that the evidence has not changed, but vaccine access has narrowed. So starting with the MMRV vaccine, this stands for measles, mumps, rubella, and varicella. That's the virus that causes chickenpox. Many at home, younger generations might not remember that infection because of this vaccine. What's important to understand is that it was offered previously in two options. Parents could either do two separate doses, MMR and V, or they could do a combined dosage. We've known for nearly 20 years that the combined dosage comes with a rare but important to acknowledge risk of something called febrile seizures. These are seizures that happen in the setting of a fever. I treat them often because the most common cause is infection. What we know now is that the MMRV combined option will no longer be available to parents, and that brings it to an option which is two shots. Of course, this is creating confusion because the evidence has been standing for nearly 20 years, and there are some options that might want to choose to do the combined dosage, mainly for convenience, but also maybe because they don't want more than one shot in that moment.
All right, parents will keep watching that for that news on that. But let's talk about the COVID vaccine, because there are some changes to those recommendations. What are they? So
the COVID-19 vaccine is no longer universally recommended, but people can still get it based off of their individual decisions. Now, what that means is that insurance might be compromised. Insurance typically has to follow the recommendations of the CDC, but now that it's no longer recommended, that might compromise for insurance and also might affect access in states depending on where you are. Important to understand, private insurers have pledged to keep the coverage of COVID-19 vaccines, mainly because of a cost benefit. COVID-19 vaccines reduce the risk of hospitalizations, which are incredibly expensive. So it's important to check with your pharmacist, check with your primary care provider, and check with your state to understand your access.
Thank you for walking us through this. I mean, so many parents especially confused by some of these changes and these recommendations, so we appreciate it, Doctor, as always. We turn now to the top two Democrats in Washington. They're now demanding a meeting with President Trump to discuss the looming government shutdown. In a letter to the president, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries say GOP leaders won't talk to them, so it's the president's, quote, obligation to meet with them and make a deal. Trump saying that he would, quote, love to meet with them, but it wouldn't change anything. The deadline is September 30th.
All right, thanks, Whit. Now to a major European airport canceling a number of its departures today following a big cyber attack that impacted several airports, including Heathrow in London. Gio, you've been following this for us. What's the latest?
Yeah, so this cyber attack, it actually began on Friday, and it targeted a company that provides self-check-in services for airlines. Agents had to actually do this manually for passengers. 5 airports were hit, so we're talking about Heathrow, Brussels, Berlin, and 2 in Ireland. A handful of flights were canceled, but we've seen some major delays. You see all those those people there. In Brussels, an airport spokesperson tells ABC News that the airport has asked airlines to cancel half of their scheduled departing flights today because of those issues with check-in. Now, this is only impacting passengers checking in from Europe. So if you're flying to Europe, you should be okay. But if you're flying back, right, if you're coming back home, then you may see some delays. Delta and United say that they're only seeing minor delays, so that's some good news on their end right now.
Okay. Yeah. Hopefully this will end soon.
Yes, fingers crossed.
All right, we do turn now to another big Saturday of college football and a Big Ten matchup of two top 20 teams highlighting Week 4. A lot of numbers in there, and Ike Ajachi's going to break it all down for us. The biggest moments, Ike. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Whit. If you thought Saturday was going to be quiet in college football, yeah, think again. From Big Ten drama in Bloomington to a shocker in Death Valley and a heated rivalry down in Miami, yesterday had touchdowns flying, rankings shaking, and plenty of fans losing their voices.
D'Angelo Pons is going to score!
Another buzzing weekend in college football.
And he's got it! Touchdown, IU!
A Big Ten blowout in Bloomington, Indiana. Number 9 Illinois going head-to-head with number 19 Indiana. It's the first time the Indiana Hoosiers have ever hosted a top 10 team while ranked.
Mendoza looks, steps into one, end zone!
Quarterback Fernando Mendoza throwing a whopping 5 touchdown passes, helping to topple the Fighting Illini with a stunning final score of 63-10.
Touchdown!
And in the Big 12 opener, number 17 Texas Tech taking on 16-ranked Utah and Salt Lake City. The Red Raiders starting out hot.
They give it to him straight ahead. Touchdown!
Scoring a touchdown on their first possession. But backup Texas Tech quarterback Will Hammond stepping up.
Touchdown!
Throwing 2 touchdown passes in the fourth quarter, helping the Red Raiders bring home the win 34-10.
Touchdown! They signal it!
And down in Hard Rock Stadium, an in-state rival face-off between the University of Florida and number 4 Miami in a must-win game for the Gators.
And scores! Florida on the board!
Both teams putting on a fight, but Miami dominating.
Oh, they made it look easy. Miami finds the end zone.
Defeating Florida 26-7 and keeping their undefeated streak for the season. And just like that, the playoff picture is already starting to get interesting. Next weekend promises even more fireworks on the field, so keep your eyes locked in, because if yesterday was any sign, the season's just getting warmed up.
We're talking playoff picture?
Playoffs? Playoffs?
Oh, my God. All right. Listen, I thank you, but we said this was going to be a big sports weekend, all right? So from college football, let's go to the semifinals of the WNBA playoffs, tipping off today. The games featuring the top seed as well as a 6th-seeded Indiana Fever, pulling off an upset in round 1 without injured superstar Caitlin Clark. Christian Cordero following it all for us with a preview here. Good morning, Christian.
Gio, good morning. You know, the quarterfinal series was jam-packed with thrillers, and that was best of 3. The semis tipping off today are best of 5, so buckle up. First up today, Indiana Fever at the Las Vegas Aces. Aces are led by who else? 3-time MVP A'ja Wilson. Could be 4-time MVP by the end of the day. To give you guys an idea of how clutch she's been, the Aces record was 11-11 going into the All-Star break. They have since gone 19-3 and are on fire. Expect high-level grittiness, though, from the Fever. They have battled through injury after injury this season, including, yes, Caitlin Clark, who's out for the year, and yet, here they are. Other side of the bracket now, Phoenix Mercury at top-seeded Minnesota Lynx. Minnesota has some unfinished business to take care of, with 6 players from last year's finals returning. And check out Natisha Heidemann lighting up the scoreboard with an average 18.6 points in the last 5 games of the regular season. But the Mercury is rising at the right time, sending the reigning champs New York Liberty packing in the first round. Rhiannon, I am so sorry. But do they have another upset in them? See for yourselves today. 3 p.m. Eastern on ABC. That's Fever versus Aces and Mercury versus Lynx at 5 Eastern on ESPN. Rhiannon, it's going to be good no matter who you're cheering
You know,
for.
I'm still sad about the Liberty, but you mentioned grittiness. All 4 of these teams are so scrappy.
Absolutely,
this could really go anyway. So
and 4 of the 5 MVP finalists are playing today, so there's talent across the board.
Wow. Ooh, the bonus stat. Love it, Christian.
Thanks, Christian. Still ahead, a big Sunday in the NFL. We got to talk some more football. ESPN's Herm Edwards is here to break it all down, which games and which players to watch.
Plus, just ahead of Halloween, Hollywood is scaring up some big profits on horror films.
And there's Janae right there, getting ready to run the half marathon in Philadelphia. We're going to have a live check-in with her as she prepares to go the distance. Looking cute.
Gotta get those stretches in, get warmed up.
Un VIP, ey. Saluden a Titi, vamos a tirar un selfie. Say cheese.
Oh, that'll wake you up and get you moving. Welcome back to GMA. That is Bad Bunny, of course. Closing out his residency in Puerto Rico with a bang. He brought out several music stars for his grand finale, including singer Mark Anthony, who closed the show down, and other reggaeton acts. And if you missed this round of performances, Bad Bunny will hit the road in November for his world tour.
There is this feeling of FOMO, like all these videos and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
it feels like everybody has gone there.
Yeah, everybody but us. All right, we do start this half hour with the must-see games in the NFL today. ESPN analyst, Coach Herm Edwards, our buddy, he is here to break it all down for us. Coach, good morning to you. Let's jump right in here with two teams that are 0-2.
Good morning, but I got to tell you something first.
Oh, yeah, all right.
This is for our Kansas City Chiefs fans.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Hey,
let's go.
Okay, speaking of the Chiefs right there, we're talking about 0-2, not the start that they wanted, or the New York Giants. They're taking on each other. What's your take on this one?
Well, this is the first time Patrick Mahomes has ever gone 0-2, obviously, right? And one-possession games, they generally win those games. I look for them to bounce back this game against the Giants. I think the Giants are playing hard, but Patrick Mahomes cannot afford to lose 3 games in a row to these Chiefs because the Chargers are pretty good out there on the West Coast. They got a good football team.
Absolutely. You are right about that. Fans do not want to see them lose again. But let's talk Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers, because they're taking on New England today. And we're seeing a bit of a renaissance for Rodgers this season. He had a tough time with the Jets going down in his debut. What do you make of all this?
Well, this is why the Pittsburgh Steelers went out and got Aaron Rodgers, and the fact that he can still throw the football. They got Aaron Rodgers to compete for them in the playoffs. Now, what's concerning about the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, when you say the Pittsburgh Steelers, when you go back into the days even when I was playing, you said defense. Right now, the Pittsburgh Steelers defense is not very good. They're giving up almost about 30 points a game. That is not the Pittsburgh way. But Aaron Rodgers can still throw the ball if you protect him. Remember, he's 41 years old. And when he gets hit, it hurts when you're 41 years old. If they protect him, they'll be fine.
That's right. Okay, how about Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow? He was injured last Sunday against the Jaguars, tearing ligaments in his toe. He's out for an indefinite time. So can the Bengals beat the Vikings without him?
Well, it's going to be tough when you think about it. Carson Wentz, he has a little bit more experience than Jake Browning, right? And so there's, to me, where it lies. Carson Wentz has played in a lot of big games. And so I'm going to have to go with Carson Wentz at the quarterback position. Jake Browning's played some, but Carson Wentz has played in a lot of big games, and I just see him playing a little bit better.
All right, we'll stand by to see what happens there, but it is time for Who's with Herm, our favorite part of the week here. And after week 2, some interesting results.
Yeah, I'm smiling.
Our football insider, Gio, is in the lead right now. He's got 2 wins. Congratulations, Gio. All right, Janae and Coach have 1 each. I've got a big goose egg. It's like the defending champions coming back with a slow start. We'll try to pull it together. All right, so let's talk about this game. Lions facing the Ravens, Monday Night Football on ABC. Who do you like, Coach?
I'm going with the Ravens. I'm going with Lamar Jackson. Big game. Lamar Jackson's going to be the difference in this game. He will make some plays. The unannounced play, the play with his legs. And I think if you're the Detroit Lions, you're scared to death about Lamar Jackson playing off schedule. And that's the problem when you play the Baltimore Ravens. He will play off schedule.
Okay, Janae already gave us her pick. She's also going with the Ravens, but as a Chiefs fan, I cannot pick Baltimore. I'm going to go with the Lions. And I want to see Lions fans. They deserve a good season.
Yeah. Gio, who do you like?
I mean, the way he sold the Ravens, I'm going with the Ravens.
I'm going Ravens, too. I think it's all Ravens, and then Rhiannon. You're on your own on this one.
Well, you can see the Lions take on the Ravens. Thank you so much, Coach, by the way. We'll see who's
Here you go.
Good for you. My heart is breaking. My Chiefs are breaking my heart. The Ravens, that's tomorrow night. on Monday Night Football. It's on ABC and ESPN starting at 8 p.m. Eastern.
All right. Yeah, very, very exciting. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and check in with Janae running that half marathon at the Philadelphia Marathon there, distance run. How are you feeling, Janae?
Hey guys, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling excited. So the first couple corrals of the half marathon, I'm sorry, I'm trying to fix my headphones to make sure that they're all set once I do take off. I think this is the second corral. Look how excited they are about to take off for the half marathon. We started just after 7:30, so we had the elite runners taking off, then the first corral, now the second one's about to go. Me and the group that I'm running with, we're in corral 6. That's the group that I've told you guys about, that I run with a group of moms. We call our group Run Like a Mother, which obviously means run very fast and efficiently and look very strong and perfect as we do it. So we're feeling good. It's exciting. There are so many people out here. I'm sure they're all like, why does this woman have a camera if she's about to take off running? But we feel good, guys, and we're going to do it. And the MCs here, they reminded us it's the 21st of September, so I'll have that song playing in my mind the whole time that we're running. So it's going to be a good day.
Yes, love it. And we're going to be cheering you on, Storm and Norman. We're going to bring your old track and field name back.
Oh, that's
Storm
right.
and Norman as you cross the finish line there. Best of luck. We're going to chat with you a little bit before you get started, though, in just a bit.
There are new efforts to scare you in your seats. Hollywood is banking on horror films for a killer year at the box office. ABC's Morgan Norwood is back now with more on that. Good morning, Morgan.
Good morning to you, Rhiannon. And call it a scream economy where the scarier the story, the bigger the payout.
Superheroes move over. The ghouls, monsters, and vampires are slashing their way through the box office this year. It's been a record-shattering year for horror films, proving that in 2025, fright sells. Take director Jordan Peele's latest release, Him, the story of a hotshot quarterback whose fame hides a chilling secret.
In this game, violence is rewarded.
Critics say it's set to pull in more ticket sales than his earlier blockbusters Get Out, Us, and Nope. It's on the heels of Michael B. Jordan's gothic vampire epic Sinners, set in 1930s Mississippi, which has already sunk its teeth into more than $278 million domestically.
No magic. Just power.
And look, they're not alone. From Weapons, Final Destination Bloodlines, and 28 years later, audiences just can't look away.
Horror movies have gone through a great resurgence at the box office in the post-pandemic era. The big factor on why I think horror movies have worked so well at the box office after 2020 is because they're part of an experience, a communal environment where you don't know what to expect next.
And the numbers back it up. Nearly a third of this year's top 15 films in North America are horror titles. And with Hollywood projected to rake in billions more in the genre this year, it's clear horror is no longer lurking in the shadows. It's taking center stage.
Really, over the years, it's proven to be one of the more consistent genres at the box office.
So after a pretty hot streak, September did take a sharp turn, but overall box office revenue dropped by nearly half. So far, Demon Slayer and Him, they're both pulling in 15 to 16 million, making this one of the closest matchups that we've seen in a long time. Okay. Favorite horror movies?
Well, we were talking about favorite versus like the scariest.
Right,
the one that messed me up for years was Candyman.
Oh,
back
with the
in day.
bees.
Well, I saw Candyman. I couldn't look in a mirror for
say it a
5
third
years.
time,
Oh, yeah, I already said it twice.
Stop.
Don't say it again. I know,
can't-
seriously.
My idea of horror, I like Hocus Pocus, Twitches. I'm too
That's
scared.
not horror.
That's the best I can do.
For me, it was it. It scared me for years.
The scariest for me, I
read
think, was
Balloon
The
Pills.
Exorcist.
Oh yeah.
Feels a
Can't
little
do
too
it.
real. All right, coming up here on Good Morning America, our group chat, the stories and images that got us talking this week. Stick around.
Candyman.
All right, we are back now with our group chat, and just wanted to take you to Janae. There she is right there, taking off in the half marathon in Philly. We're hoping to check back with her in just a little bit, but wanted to make sure that we got
Run
that
like a
video out
mother.
there. Run, Janae.
like a mother.
Storm and Norman. She's off to the races. All right, speaking of the group chat, these are the stories that piqued our interest during the week, and so much going on in the world, right? I think that a lot of people just feel overwhelmed by it, completely beyond our control. So I decided to tap into one of our old friends here, former GMA Weekend co-anchor, our little guru, Dan Harris. Didn't mean to emphasize the word little, for some advice, little advice. Let's take a look.
One phrase that really helps me is action absorbs anxiety. I, as one little person, cannot fix all the world's problems, of course, but I can take action in my own little sphere. I can call my mom. I can text a friend who's in need. I can volunteer somewhere like Whit does with the shelter dogs. And it adds up. It makes a difference. And while it doesn't fix everything, it can fix your mind. It can be empowering.
I just love this idea.
Yeah.
Action absorbs anxiety, and this is something that I've done over the years. I've talked to Dan about this. You know, try to volunteer, help someone in need, even make a phone call to someone and tell them that you know, you appreciate them and who they are. These little things can really make you feel better and take back some control of your life when you feel like everything is sort of spinning out of control.
Really
I love
helpless.
that. That is so good. You know, my topic is sort of related to this. So this week, Matthew McConaughey, he released a new book, and it's sort of unexpected. It's called Poems and Prayers. I want to show you what he said because this struck me.
Why did I write a Poems and Prayers book? Because I found myself doubting the future. Friends, people, strangers, myself, God even. And started to get a little bit cynical. And I believe cynicism is a disease, one that we choose, and it can kill us while we're still living.
Ooh.
I mean, isn't that so powerful? And I was listening to the book. He's got a great audiobook. And one of the things that's so interesting about this is that someone who seemingly has it all, he's still a seeker. Yeah. So there's a few things that he says about prayer. So he says prayer is about putting your heart above your head. So putting aside the how and turning to the wow. And I think there's a really interesting, easy way to do this. Just go outside, right? This week I sort of put our phones away and I said, let's just go for a walk in the park. And I was able to really see and experience things that I hadn't done before. Get wowed by nature.
I love that.
Right?
Okay, both of you are helping us be better people. I'm just going to have some fun now. Okay? I got a chance to talk with Saquon Barkley the other day, of course, gearing up to play the Rams today. And he was so down to earth. And I actually asked him, what's something about him that would surprise people? Here's what he said.
But when I say basic, I'm just, you know, family, football, and I like golf. And you might catch me playing chess on my phone.
Chess on his phone. I loved that. So I want to know, tell us something about the two of you people might not know.
Well, I play the piano a lot. I go home and I play the piano. This was my New Year's resolution. I did it. I'm learning. And I'm getting there. I'm not, you know.
I've heard your stuff sounds pretty good. We've listened.
Your offices are by each other.
Yeah. And for me, I'm still playing soccer. That was my passion growing up, and I'm in my 40s now. I got a busted knee, but still playing soccer. That's my way to kind of like release and something that not a lot of people know.
And for me, I try to stay off my phone more these days, but if you catch me on my phone, I'm listening to an audiobook.
Oh, good.
I love that.
Yep.
See?
I love it. So I might do Matthew McConaughey.
There you go. It's good.
Is it his voice?
Yeah.
Does he
It's his
voice
voice.
it?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's doing it.
Listen.
That is our group chat for now, but I believe before we go, we're going to go back, check in with Janae as she's FaceTiming us while she's running. Janae, what's going on? How you feeling?
Slowing her down.
Some drones, you know, they've got the entertainment out here. I passed by a Channel 6 Action News viewers, you know, and Philly, they love ABC. So it's so much fun. It's exhausting, but we're just getting started. So I'll catch up with you guys at the finish line.
Oh,
go,
my
Janae.
God. Go, Janae.
Yes,
Let's go. We are cheering you on.
And
everyone here in the studio
wasted breath on us, too. Yeah, save that cardio. All right, we'll check back in later. Thanks so much for watching today. Thanks, Drew.
Thanks for having me.
Good to have you. Have a great week.